The last thing you need is another sales script, and chances are, if you're using one, it might actually be costing you a lot of commission each month. You ever been on a sales call where you know the script inside and out? You're following the process, you're building great rapport, everything on paper looks great, but something still feels off and you're not getting the results that you think you should be getting. It's actually a lot more common than you think. I was working with somebody a while back who was in this position where she knew the script, she had the process down, she was trained in a very specific way to sell this product, and it was other people were having success with that process, but she wasn't, and so she was frustrated, obviously. So what did she do? She did the same thing that most of us would do in that situation. She went out and got more training, hired coaches, she spent extra time memorizing her scripts, and nothing seemed to work. And it was starting to build a lot of frustration within herself. It was adding a lot of stress, and that stress was leaking over into other areas of her life. It was a really good lesson on how you can't really compartmentalize these different areas of life. Stress in one is going to leak out into another, no matter how hard we try. It even got to the point where her home life was being affected, her health was being affected. Her daughter at one point even commented that she just didn't seem happy anymore. So what did we do? Well, we didn't throw a bunch of more scripts at her. We didn't work on her frameworks or anything like that. We looked underneath the surface to see what was actually happening. And what was going on was there's some programs that were written when she was a kid that said if she didn't do things the right way, she wouldn't be recognized and she wouldn't have connection, that she had to follow orders. And so that was causing her to stick to the script too much and ignore her intuition, ignore her natural gifts in the moment. So what was actually happening was on these calls, instead of when something would come up and she knew the right thing to do internally, she would ignore that and just follow the script for the sake of following the script. She had the weight of her manager's expectations that she was holding throughout all of this, and she bought into the idea that if I just do as I'm told, then it'll all work out. Well, it didn't. Now, this program that we uncovered, this is the shadow rep. This was programmed into her as a kid, and now 20 years later, it's showing up on her sales calls and hijacking things. This is why it's so important to pair the inner work with any kind of sales training. Unfortunately, it's just not talked about. You can have the best scripting, you can ask the best questions, you can hire the best coaches, you can do the most call reviews. It doesn't matter, because this shadow rep is going to pop up and derail conversations every single time. These programs that were installed at a young age, we all have them. They all show up in different ways, and they're just meant to keep you safe. The problem is, we're not in danger on sales calls. There's no bear attacking us. It's just a prospect that may be giving us a hard time or giving us an objection. They show up in different ways for everybody. Sometimes it's people pleasing, sometimes it's anxiety, sometimes it's debilitating fear, sometimes it's just dissociating and blanking out and forgetting what to say or disconnecting from the person in front of us. And until we address these things in the right way, no amount of sales training or process or practice is going to work. And so I want to help you uncover your shadow rep, because that really is the foundational layer that's going to change everything for you once you start doing it. I built a free tool to help get you started with this. I'll link it below if you want to check it out. Let me know what you think.